All right, guys. It is Sunday, June 5th, 2022. Always start with the daily chart. 93 is important support, and we've made it up above 109. I mean, of course, this thing is overlapping and very difficult to get a handle on. As you drill down into it, it's very overlapping and difficult. But I've been trading it well because I've been letting it. I haven't been shorting it at all. Let it come down, and all I've been doing is trying to catch these moves, and I've been doing that pretty dang well. I mean, I'm doing the best trading of my life right now, which doesn't say much because I've only been trading for 3 years. But what I've been doing is barely trading the short side. There are a couple of times I caught a couple of shorts, really more like scalps. But what I've been doing is trading these moves, these surges up, and then taking the gains and letting it come back, and then finding entries again. And I've been using the strat to do that. So I like that this made it above 109, and it finally got above there and like held it. And then now it's poking above 116.64, which I've always thought was important. So it opens the door, certainly opens the door for higher. And wouldn't it make sense if it gets to 124 just based on this, the way I'm counting it, if this is the correction here, if this really is where 4 is, and then, I mean, we're in a diagonal of some sort, but if this is really where the bottom was, this pullback here, and these fibs up here might be in play. I mean, it's crisscrossing what I have as a pivot, but it keeps making higher highs and it keeps making higher lows. So yeah, so whether or not, these fibs are right or how I don't really care. I'm trading it successfully. I'm using good risk management. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the fibs, no doubt, and I'm following it along. I'm also using these technicals too to see the daily on the histogram been above the center line the whole time. Once this crossover happened, it held on the MACD, so that's been in buy mode the whole time. Even though it's totally crisscrossy and choppy, it's choppy. It's bullish chop, I got no problem with that. You got to be nimble though. So now we're above 116.64. Will it finally just like it eventually it got above 109 and it didn't go back below it? So can this come back? Of course it could. But I think the door is open for higher. The technicals agree. It doesn't mean at the open it's not going to come back and before it goes higher again. It can do anything it wants. So next thing I'm looking at, actually I'm not really looking at this, but I did just measure something. I'd like to say I don't know much about LE Wave, but I know how to measure stuff. And of course, half the time my fibs may be in the wrong place, but that's why I look at multiple different ways of measuring it. And then as price reacts to certain levels, it kind of informs. And this is my homework chart. It's very ugly, very messy. But at the moment, what I'm speculating on is that these orange fibs are in play and that, yes, it crisscrossed this, call it my pivot zone right here, 764, 618 of a larger structure in orange here. Yeah, it crisscrossed it, but in a diagonal, that's going to happen. So yeah, did it come all the way? Usually you'd look for a standard impulse to hold the pivot, but in a diagonal, I just leave the pivot on there, even though it may not be in play technically the way it would be in a standard impulse. But I mean, you tell me, look how price is behaving around this pivot zone. Even though it got really deep, but down below the 50% retrace of this 1, 2 of this 3, 4, 5 is very deep for a 4, but is a diagonal. So, and the structure, the substructure of this looks good to me, right? Can you have 3 waves down? Or this could be 5, actually. 5 waves down for A, then a crazy B wave, ugly, janky B wave. This could actually be 5 too. And then 5 waves down for a C wave. So that's 4, a deep 4 below 50% retrace. And then now you've got another 1, 2. Actually, I didn't measure for that. But this could be 1, 2. So now we're in 3 of 5. And so if that's the case, my speculation is that it'll hold this gray area because look, it hit it once, got rejected, hit it twice, got rejected, hit it 3 times, got rejected, 4th time, boop. Look at that. I mean, it's clearly, there's something about this level clearly that the market is interacting with. And I don't need to know why, I don't care. I just am guessing that this is now going to hold as support. So my entry I got, which was using strat, My best entries are always after extremes, and always when I can get in there between like 7 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. I did get I tried to get in long here. Well, I didn't try. I did at night. I got a long entry here, but then I got stopped out at break even the next morning. That was a bummer because then it had this massive reaction. But then it came back and tagged to 382, almost at a penny. And then again the next morning, I started looking at it and I really liked that a lot. So I took a shot on the strat. Actually, I took a couple. It got stopped, and then the last one held. So what I'm doing now is just managing the trade. And at the moment, I'm break even stop. I don't think it's going to come back below this gray zone, but if it does, I'll get maybe I'm going to leave it at break even for now. Leaving it at break even. So I'm quick to stop out when I'm making my entries. I often make multiple entries. Sometimes, to somebody else, it might be crazy what I do. I might make, I'm not kidding, 10, 11, 12 attempts if I like where it's at in the structure. But I stop out quickly, oftentimes at break even. So, because I'm always using strat. So as soon as the price moves up at all in my favor, I'll go ahead and move the stop to break even. But initially, I define my risk. So let me show you this entry. Really what I'm saying is, by the way, before I move off of this chart, I'm not even going to think about taking this off until it's at least up here somewhere. So I'm either going to just get stopped out, or I'm looking for another 7, 8, 9, $10 trade. I mean, that's what I've been doing. I've been catching multiple dollars long and barely been trading the short side at all. So the worst I do is screw up a long entry. Thank you, Ron R., for teaching me about that concept. So now let me just show you strat. So there's not really anything clear on the strat at the moment in terms of like if I were trying to get an entry right now. Well, I'm not trying to get an entry. I'm just trying to manage the trade. So what I like about strat right now is the 4 hour finally got back above the center line on the histogram. So momentum is clearly swung back up after this move down. And basically every histogram is on the positive side of these time frames. Okay, fine. And then the daily, it's been positive for like 3 weeks now or more. Even look at this chop fest. Even the squeezes do not perform well in a chop fest, but I still use it as a reference because it's still telling you that, yeah, it's bullish chop. And then now, every time I set a target, it's getting hit. Look, it hit all three of these targets, and my next target is 126.84. I have no idea if that's going to get hit or not, but that coincides. 126.84. That's up in here somewhere. Well, this LA wave, at least the way I'm measuring this, speculating on this, yeah, that would be reasonable. So I think it's reasonable to have a target of 124. That's I won't even think about taking this off until it gets up into here. And if it doesn't, that's fine. I'll get out at break even. Or actually, by the time it starts getting up here, I'll move the stop up to there. If it keeps going, if it gets above 122, I'll move the stop up to there. And then if it gets up to there, that's when I'm going to really have to start making a decision, because it could come all the way back before it gives another surge higher. But yeah, I mean, look how much deeper this got than what. Well, maybe you guys knew that it was going to come down here, and I didn't. But this got a lot deeper than I was thinking. But it's a diagonal, so I wasn't surprised. But what I'm saying is, I'm just babbling here. But I'm not going to think about taking this off until if it gets up into here. Then I'll have some decisions to make about trade management. But for right now, my plan is to leave the stop really wide, let it chop, and just raise the stop up slowly and stay way behind structure with my stop. Okay, I'll show you my entry because it's a cool strat entry. I got stopped out a few times before this one took. But what I did is when this candle came down, I said, if this comes back up, I'm going to buy it at the top of this candle. So I put in a buy order at the top of this candle. And then as soon as I bought it, it did go against me a little bit. But then this candle I got so lucky. I had already made 2 or 3 attempts over here and got stopped at either break even or small, clearly defined losses in advance. So I finally put a stop at the bottom of this candle, which means I was risking 7 cents. And then the next time I looked in, I knew it was a good entry because it didn't come anywhere near my stop. And then I moved it to break even. So now I'm just in trade management mode. And I just already told you what my trade management was. So that's what I'm thinking. And just for parameters, I really don't want to see it come back below like 117. Just, you know, that just where this is looking in the structure. If this is really a 1-2, I mean, it is a diagonal, so yeah, it can come back and dip into here. That, yeah. But wouldn't it be great if it doesn't? I mean, if it wants to come back, it just keeps making higher highs and higher lows. That'd be great. And then, there's a little bit of confluence up here from depending on how I measure it into this area. I mean, and the most bullish count that I can think of is really this one, which, I mean, that'd be crazy. If this is really a bunch of nested 1-2s in here, and this really is, forget this count. I put that on there a long time ago. If this really is a 4, like a wave 4 being done right here, then wave 5, yeah, I mean, $150 a barrel. And forget the timing. I have no clue about that. But, these fibs are just what they are. So, and, this would be a pivot. So if it can, I mean, man, that's bullish, isn't it? So basically, everything I'm looking at is bullish. Even when this was pulling back, I was thinking it's bullish. And all I'm trying to do is get long. I'm not trying to short anything. I'm just trying to get long. All right, guys, hope this helps somebody out there. I'm just babbling. See what happens at the open. Bye-bye.